It's a step in that direction. I think this is a really cool idea. And it's incentivizing players to maybe pick a perk they wouldn't otherwise pick so that they get the bonus.
Yeah.
And that changes their playstyle a little bit. That's cool too.
Maybe for your third slot, you're trying to pick between something like Ghost or High Alert, and you really want to run Ghost, but if you run High Alert, then you're going to stack with your other two perks and you're going to get some sort of bonus.
We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode number 435. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I am joined by Tanner, as always, and we have a fun and exciting ep in store for all of you, in which, oh, now I remember talking about it. Yeah, we're going to be going over all of the BO6 info we know so far that we haven't already covered on Tuesday. So we had BO6 Direct on Tuesday. We went through that video together, and that was our last episode, and we talked about everything that they explicitly talked about and showcased. Today, what we're going to be doing is talking about everything in the video that was shown but not talked about at all. So for example, the Gunsmith, they show it, they don't talk about it. So we didn't either, but we're going to do that today. And like the Gunsmith is a good example. There were other things, I can't remember them right now, but Tanner's written them all down. So that's one thing. And then another thing is info we have on BO6 that didn't come from BO6 Direct at all. So this is going to be leaks, interviews, articles, things like that. So between this episode and our last one, we will have covered, to our knowledge, everything there is to know about BO6 so far. Everything that's publicly available, including, I think, some leaks and speculation. Although a lot of leaks starting like now are going to be pretty likely to be accurate, or at least mostly accurate. So we'll take those as we go. But that is the topic for today's episode, and I'm excited to get into this. Now, before we start, a couple of quick announcements. We will talk more about these things at the end, but just briefly before that, our last patron episode was our Q&A. We did our Platinum and above Q&A ep, and it was really fun. It was almost like 2 hours also. Talked about that a little bit, and then we also talked about pizza. Yeah, lots of pizza talk, lots of talk about things. It was a fun ep. We'll talk more about that at the end. And as a reminder, once again, free trials for the Patreon are now live for any tier. So if you want to listen to that Q&A episode, for example, patreon.com/thedropshot, you can sign up at any time in June at any tier for a free trial. So you could go listen to it now at no cost. So keep that in mind. And then also we did our Damascus hangout yesterday, which was cool. Had a good turnout, played some multiplayer customs, did some Car 98 only gameplay. It was fun. In multiplayer, and we had at least one new face, which was cool. Someone took advantage of the Damascus free trial and used it to come to the hangout. That was what we wanted, so that was very cool. And he had a great time. It was Ducky, right?
Yeah.
The boy Ducky. Shout out to Ducky.
Yeah.
And he said if he can get his bitch girlfriend to pick up some extra shifts, then he will remain Damascus next month for the next hangout.
Yeah.
Which is going to be, by the way, Rebirth Island Customs. It's going to be fun and exciting. But again, we will talk more about that at the end of the show. For now, let's get into this thing. And there's a lot to say, as I said. So,
okay, cool.
First of all, starting off, we have a bunch here. And I don't know how well ordered this is. Tanner did all the notes. Thank you, Tanner. And he did unorder. Is there a rhyme and or a reason to the order?
It's not out of order, one might say, but it's not in order. Another one might say, you know?
Yeah, I understand. I mean? So
okay. It exists.
An unorder.
It exists.
It exists, and it's an unorder. So keep that in mind as well. We're, just taking things as they were written down here. But this is an exhaustive section here. And this is pretty much everything, again, we know about BO6 that we haven't already covered. Obviously, there are going to be more and more leaks and info and official reveals coming out every day. And we will take those as we go, as we approach BO6 launch. But for now, this seems to be everything in conjunction, again, with our last episode, BO6 Direct. So starting off, as just a reminder, I believe we might have mentioned this, but Call of Duty Next is happening on August 28th for the full Black Ops 6 multiplayer reveal, probably among other things.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't remember what COD Next is, I don't know when they started doing COD Next. It might have been
I think it was
2 years ago.
I thought MW19 had a COD Next, didn't it?
I don't know.
I think it did because that was originally when we heard from Pat Kelly and Joe Seacott, and we learned to hate them, was because they publicly got up there. It was absolutely 100% MW19. And they said a bunch of things. That's when Joe Seacott talked about they want to, let Sentinels have their own gameplay. So it was MW19 that started, yeah.
Okay. So COD Next is a big event they've been doing every year as a showcase for the game coming up. So for this year, it's going to be on August 28th. I don't remember when the last COD Next was, but again, this game is releasing on October 25th, I believe, which is
24th technically, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, like at 9 Pacific or whatever. Yeah. So that is. Oh, we got to get our countdown going. By the way, that's sooner than the last quite a few CODs have released. So all of that is to say we are on a bit of an accelerated timeline, at least by a couple of weeks. And I'm excited for COD Next, and we're probably going to learn a lot because the last COD Next we had, and every COD Next really, has been a pretty massive info dump. So if you were not satisfied with BO6 Direct, which I think you should have been because that was a lot more info than I was expecting, you will be with COD Next, and that's going to be August 28th. And by the way, we'll probably do a little event for that here at the Dropshot. Maybe a little live watch.
Yeah, in the past,
again.
We've watched them live. And also, so besides the multiplayer reveal, we will also almost certainly see or at least hear about a lot of Warzone changes and how all that's going to work. That's probably, my guess is actually that will be the next time we really hear about the next iteration of Warzone will be at Call of Duty Next. I don't think we'll get any more info from now for the next 2 months, basically, on Warzone until Call of Duty Next. And then, we'll see some zombies gameplay. I'm very excited about that as well. They'll probably actually show that off, so that'll be dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, they're calling it the multiplayer reveal at COD Next, but it's going to be everything.
Yeah, I would expect to see more than just multiplayer for sure, yeah. So, and then next here we have... I don't know what we have, and I don't know who posted it, by the way. The name was cropped out, but tell us about what I'm looking at here.
I think this was from Bob Network. So there's an image going around. Black Ops 6 closed pre-order beta will run from the 28th of August to the 3rd of September, according to alleged employee info from Game. I don't know what that is. GAME, all capitalized. Is that like a magazine website or gaming website? I don't even know what that is. But basically,
that's weird.
So it sounds like how it's working this year is pretty much they're going to reveal it at COD Next. The event's going to end, and they're going to put the beta servers live, which will go crazy. That'll be dope if they end up doing this, because that's not how it's been working at all.
Yeah.
That will draw so much hype. That day will go crazy. You see everything happening. You're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to play this game. And then everyone gets to hop in and play. So it sounds like that's what we're getting. This is really cool. And on top of that, according to Charlie Intel, well, according to them, because they publicly stated at Activision. The Black Ops 6 beta is at the same time for all platforms this year. So no more weekend early PlayStation exclusive beta.
Finally, man.
Which kills the hype, as we've said every single year.
Yep.
We get to our turn for the beta, and I don't even care to play it anymore because I've seen the gameplay and it's a beta. But it's different when you get to experience it day one, minute one, and hop in for yourself. That's a massive difference than watching a bunch of people play it a whole weekend early and learning everything about the game before you even get to install it. So this is really nice. I'm glad they're done with that crap. That's going to be dope, dude. But yeah, seriously, like watching everything from COD Next, getting really excited, and then just getting to hop right in the game, ideally, that will go bonkers. So this is a very good decision if this is actually true. So the beta date is a leak. That's not confirmed. The beta being the same time for all platforms, though, that is confirmed to be happening.
I believe this 100%.
I think so. Yeah, because this we're not showing you like the image, but it's not just a tweet that says this is the closed pre-order beta date. It's like an image from a piece of paper printed out that says this is the closed beta date, basically.
Yeah, it's a picture of some kind of like.
It's a picture
release.
of a picture. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I believe this 100%, and I think it's a great idea. Yeah, it's going to be way more hype. It'll be really cool for the player base, provided the beta is good, which we'll of course see. But things are looking up as far as the quality of the game, in my opinion. So I think the beta will be good. I think the game will be pretty good. And yeah, having COD Next, you see all this cool stuff, and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. I wonder what that's like. I'll find out in an hour, because then I can like play the beta as long as you pre-order, by the way. So they're doing that again. There will likely be an open beta where you don't have to buy the game, or pre-order the game rather, to play it. They do that every year, I think. But if you want to get in as early as possible, you will have to pre-order the game. So if you want to do that, you should do that.
Yeah.
And by the way, one thing I don't remember is last year, I remember I pre-ordered on one platform, and then I like refunded it to pre-order on another one because the other one had like extra benefits. I don't know if they're doing that again. I don't even remember what I had done. I think I pre-ordered like through BNet rather than through like the browser or something. It was really stupid. You could either pre-order in-game or pre-order through Battle.net, and it was a different bundle slightly. You're right. I don't remember what it was. I don't even remember if it was last year's game or MW2, but there was some sort of a difference based on how you pre-order, even though they were both through like Battle.net technically. Yeah, so keep that in mind as well. I pre-ordered through Battle.net this time. I think last time what I had done is in-game, and I think it was just like strictly worse. Like it was fewer like pre-order bonuses or whatever. I don't know. So just be aware of that. But anyway, this is cool, and I believe it. So
I want to say too, because I'm thinking about it now. After you left the hangout last night, we had somebody at the hangout. I'm not going to say his name, and neither are you. You would know who it is, though. But he maybe knows some people who work at studios that maybe work on the Call of Duty game. And one of them was telling him that this is the best Call of Duty the studio has ever made. He thinks this is genuinely the most fun Call of Duty that's ever been made, and people are going to like love it. So that was cool to hear, because I guess he does not say that. He's, like some people say, this is the best COD ever every year. Yeah, usually it's like a running joke. But this guy was telling his friend, like, no, like seriously, like this game is like possibly the best Call of Duty ever created. So that's dope. That was really cool to hear. I'm like, oh, that's good to know.
It's good to hear. Yeah. If a dev has like genuinely faith in the product, that's or someone involved anyway.
He's not an actual game dev on the game, which is also a good sign, because of course they're going to always say David Vonderhaar said Cold War he thought it was perfect, and then the game launched and it was a terrible launch, so he lied to everybody. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, good to know. So what's next here?
Yeah, so kind of moving on to getting into some actual info here. So this is from Screen Rant. So there was a big Screen Rant article, I have it linked in here somewhere, where one of these guys went and played Black Ops 6 early as well with all the content creators. So he put out a lot of info, probably more than he was supposed to, it seemed. But anyways, I'm going to read this here. I think we've kind of already talked about this, but just to rehash. Other notable quality of life improvements and UI changes include a promised streamlined lobby and flow getting into the game. UI,
what that means.
The UI director at Treyarch confirms they are well aware of the feedback of the current Call of Duty menu system, and they want Black Ops 6 to be fast and responsive, approachable, and content focused. From the moment of launch, it's all about getting into gameplay. The main menu will also see the return of the quick join party list in the top right, and the post-game best play returning from Black Ops 4, and the winner circle, which is also returning.
Finally.
So the winner circle is coming back too, which means things like, there have been leaks for a while now that like the emotes are coming back. What else did we have?
Gestures.
Yeah, but we had some other stuff.
Sprays.
Yeah.
We had sprays and gestures. I don't remember anything else.
Yeah, so it sounds like that
cool.
will probably all come back as well and be tied into this. So this is cool. And we've seen just from looking or just from watching the reveal event, you could see when they're showing like the monitors how much different just the layout of everything is. Like from the Gunsmith menu to the lobby menu, it's not laid out like a mobile game anymore. It looks like when you're like at the main menu, it does look more like a classic Call of Duty where everything's just at the top. You press like RB on your controller to scroll through everything. It's quicker, it's easier, it looks more simple, it looks nicer, but yeah. So this has been a major complaint by a ton of people since.
Yeah.
I guess when did they ruin the UI? It was MW2, I guess, right?
MW2,
yeah.
I believe, is when it got really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Everything bad that's happened, just go to the most recent Infinity Ward project, and that's why. Yeah, so that's a lot. So I totally believe this once again. And we even saw the UI. It looked better at a glance. And I'm sure once you get into it, it'll be better too. Because everyone has been complaining because the UI is abysmal right now. And for no reason. So that makes perfect sense to me. And I'm happy about that. But even more than that, actually, I'm really excited about Play of the Game coming back.
I agree.
It's been so long since we have either had Play of the Game as an intended feature or had Play of the Game as an intended feature that actually reliably works that I literally forgot about it. We haven't had a working, reliable, consistent Play of the Game final kill cam in Call of Duty since BO4. After BO4, it was sometimes added, and I say that with scare quotes, and sometimes not, to subsequent launches since MW19. But even if it was added, it wouldn't work. It didn't work. Sometimes,
it did not work in MW19. Half of the play of the game would be somebody just holding an angle, and then their guns start shooting at somebody, and then the play of the game ends before you get the kill. It's so bad. Yeah, in BO4 that was exciting because at the end of every match, we'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna love this one."
Yeah. Yep.
And it would kind of be like a little, like a little competition. Like when I got freaking 10 kills in a second and a half with Reaper Scythe on Nuketown. Or to get my chain killer or whatever it was, and then that's Play the Game.
We should say Play of the Game was Reaper Scythe ult of the game. As soon as that operator came out. Yeah, but still, it was cool. Yeah, like I miss Play of the Game, and it's been so long since we've had it, and it worked. I'm very excited actually for that to come back and for it to actually work reliably. I have faith in Treyarch that it will work reliably. Yeah. It doesn't seem hard because they did it in 2005, so they can probably do it again.
You think they can do it?
If they actually cared to, yeah. And another thing this makes me think is we're probably going to get Play of the Game in, well, maybe not, but we'll definitely get reliable at least final kill in Warzone. Because that's like a feature in Warzone right now, and again, just doesn't work half the time. Sometimes I see it, sometimes it doesn't play. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work. I think a lot of times if you pull your scoreboard up or something, it blocks it, and you can't exit out of your scoreboard, so you just can't see it. But yeah, it's very hit or miss in Warzone, but it's cool when it works.
It's cool really when it works. And I almost guarantee, and we'll get more into what else is coming from BO6 to Warzone, that this will be one of those things. Whether it be play of the game or final kill cam is really the only question. I would probably lean in Warzone's case, they'll probably just do final kill.
100%.
But that would still be cool if it worked reliably. Because the final kill in Warzone is often going to be like cool and exciting, you know?
Yeah.
Not like random, you know, whatever, some guy that got like a squad wipe who's left the lobby 20 minutes ago. Yeah. So, but that's cool. Yeah. I'm very excited to see all of that for sure.
Yeah.
And I believe it once again. Yeah.
And again, there is not a person out there who prefers this UI. There can't be. So everyone's either just like, it sucks, but like whatever, or people just hate it. Like there are people in our Discord that they complain more about the UI than any
Shout
other
out to Edgy.
aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people that just hate the UI that much. So this is good that they're finally changing this, you know. But yeah, so moving on to the next little item here.
Wow.
This is an exciting little one.
Yeah.
We're seeing a picture here.
We are,
yeah. We're seeing a picture here of the Gunsmith. So we're going to break this down. So to start with, right at the top, that's a UI change. How you go from attachments to your cosmetics for that gun. That's not how it works right now. So there's one UI change, as you can see. It's like a classic UI where you press L1 or R1 to go between your weapon camos or your weapon attachments. Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
As for the attachment selection, standard stuff: optic, muzzle, barrel, underbarrel, laser, magazine, grip, stock, and fire mod.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, I actually did not read that until right now.
Interesting. Yep. That was the first thing that caught my eye right now.
Is that ammo type or something, I guess? Ammo type and other things, maybe?
So yeah,
maybe in mind, triggers, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, because it could be, I feel like a lot of things. So keep in mind, this screenshot is just a screenshot of a frame from Black Ops 6 Direct. That's all this is. So we've seen this before, but they just didn't talk about it at all. So we're like, you know, taking a picture and looking at it. And also the UI thing, it's way better for just press L1 to cycle between attachments and cosmetics. Because right now, if you're in your Gunsmith like this, you have to press B and then you have to go to edit or whatever. I don't even know how you do it.
I don't know either. Too much. I can't think of it.
But it's way more than just one button press, which is what this is. So they already, like Tanner mentioned, we're seeing an improvement on the UI. So before we get into fire mod, there are a couple other things that
there are a lot of things, yeah,
that strike me as interesting. So in the top right, like right above the barrel of the weapon, I see a golden medal. It looks like it says marksman at the top, and then at the bottom it says total kills 75. Does this imply there are weapon prestiges coming back? Kinda.
That's what we're thinking.
Weapon mastery?
Yep.
That's what we're thinking. That's classic Treyarch. And also, I love to see it.
Yeah.
If true, I love to see it. And next to that, there's some blurred out text. So we don't know what that text says.
To the right of it?
Could it say weapon prestige? Possible. Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah, to the right of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, so weapon prestige probably coming back. That's what it sounds like. So yeah, there's a lot more still here.
Oh yeah.
Bottom right, there's a button that says view mastery progression as well.
Oh yeah, there you go. And then there's a separate button that says view detailed weapon stats.
Yep, and detailed weapon stats are supposed to be like what we have now, basically, like that detailed.
Right. All one button press away, by the way, instead of having to go through different menus. So very good. So yeah, detailed weapon stats coming back. I would frankly expect that at this point. In MW3, in the case of MW3, detailed weapon stats were done super, super well. That is one of the... I have a lot of good things to say about MW3. That is absolutely one of them. I think this is the first time the Gunsmith has been almost perfect. There are still too many attachments, but the pros and cons, simplified versus complex view, really well handled. I expect that to come to BO6, and we can already see that here. And then, yeah, mastery progression. And then let's talk real quick about this fire mod. So yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attachment slots for this M4. Now keep in mind, this is just one gun's gunsmith. So obviously different guns are going to have different attachment slots added or removed. So one of them for the M4, all of them are standard except the fire mod one. We don't know what that is. As Tanner said, it could be just another renamed version of attachment types we've already seen, like ammo type. So that's where your frangible, hollow point, whatever is going to be. Or fire mod could possibly mean you put on a different, I don't know what dictates an M16 versus an M4. Would that be a trigger mechanism or whatever? That could be fire mod too. So you go there and you can change the M4 to burst by using that attachment, or, change like an M16 to full auto by going to its fire mod attachment. We don't know. Or is it something else entirely? Because one thing we've seen in Black Ops 4, the last full development cycle Treyarch game, was something called operator mods for weapons. Those took a bunch more attachment slots. I don't think that's what this is, but I could see something like that coming back, possibly. So for example, there was a cylinder action quasi sniper rifle in BO4 called the Outlaw. Do you remember the Outlaw, Tanner?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And one of its operator mods, which I would call a fire mod, I think it would be safe to say that, was it changed it from semi-auto to a 3-round burst sniper. It was cheesy and overpowered and cringe when people used it, but that would be an example of like a fire mod, potentially. We don't know. So this could be a lot. This could be a big deal if it is something like that, or potentially something like that. It could also be not a big deal if it's just ammo type renamed. We don't know.
It could also even be something similar to maybe Treyarch's version of aftermarket parts, things they add on as the game progresses.
True.
It could be like trigger types, like maybe on this base M4, there's a fire mod that's a lightweight trigger that increases your fire rate slightly while also increasing the amount of recoil, a little trade-off. Maybe there's like a heavy trigger, something like that increases your weapon's accuracy while slowing down the fire rate slightly, things like that. That's kind of what when I hear the word fire mod, I like instantly think of triggers. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't know. You know what? Let's look at the image. Where are the little diamonds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess it doesn't even show all of them. Because I was thinking maybe there's a diamond over something that could kind of give us a hint as to what the fire mod is.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no.
But interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So a couple other standouts. In the bottom right, you can see it's showing some stats, simplified stats. So firepower, accuracy, handling, and mobility. This is the simplified view, so I'm not mad that it's just bars. It shows you the mag size, shows you how many mags you spawn with. You get this already in COD, but that's good. And then underneath it, it says compared to the Krig 6.
Yeah.
So we are getting the Krig back. I don't know if that was common knowledge by now, but there's just another thing to keep in mind. And then the last standout for me, I think, is really the diamonds that you've mentioned, but the ones on the bottom right. So he has 4 attachments selected on this gun. And in the bottom right, that is notated with 4 diamonds filled. And then another 4 diamonds are empty. This implies to me that you can use up to 8 attachments on a gun. And I don't know if that is independent of your other selections, kind of like Cold War, or if that is included in your allotment of total custom class selections you can make, like a pick 10 system would be. Maybe there's more info on that later.
So there's more info right now. There's a wildcard system coming. So there will be a wild card where you can put 8 attachments on a weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, I don't even think that's a leak. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. So yeah, there is a wildcard system coming as well. So that's where that comes from. So by default, you're getting 5 attachments on every weapon, and then by using a wildcard, which we don't have specific info on any of the wildcard systems yet, but you can select up to 8 attachments on a gun, yeah.
So do we know if I opted to use only 2 attachments on a gun instead of 5, does that give me anything extra?
No. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
And then last thing to note on here too, I noticed bottom left corner, it looks like they've also changed the UI on attachment skins, I'm thinking, because there's a button that says view skins, and it's not the cosmetic. So I'm thinking when you're hovering over an attachment, you're like, hey, you have an attachment selected, you can view skins for like just that optic that you have or something. So if you bought bundles that put skin on that optic versus now, you have to go in, select that optic, and then from there you like scroll through and look at the cosmetics you have for it. So that's another UI change there, if that's what I'm assuming it is.
I'm assuming you're right, yeah.
And yeah, I think that was pretty much it from this image.
That's pretty much it for me, yeah. I see 12 loadouts in the background on the right there.
Correct,
I don't care how many loadouts you get. It's as long as it's more than 5, I'm fine. So yeah, good.
So let me check my notes. Yep, I think I had everything possible. And then so like as a little reminder, I pulled the wild cards from Cold War. So there were 4 in Cold War. The first one is Danger Close. You got to equip an extra lethal and tactical and start with max ammo. Lawbreaker, equip any weapon in either slot and equip any perks. Okay. Gunfighter unlocks 3 additional attachment slots for your primary weapon. So that is what we're going to have in this game. And then Perk Greed, where you equip 3 extra perks. So we don't know which other wild cards we are getting. We don't know how that system is going to work. Because I'm not mistaken, like even in Cold War, you just always had a wild card, right? Or was there something you had to do to equip a wild card? I don't remember.
I don't believe so. I don't remember, but I think you were basically just like guaranteed.
You're guaranteed a wild
in the
card,
same
right?
way you're guaranteed 5 attachments. Yeah. So yeah, this is Cold War wild cards are here. These are good examples of what we might expect, but this doesn't mean necessarily we are getting all these wild cards and only these wild cards and that they'll behave in the same way.
Yeah.
We don't really know that yet, but it's a good frame of reference because we at least know we're getting one of those wild cards, Gunfighter, and it will work the same way. So it's not a leap to assume that we'll get some of those other ones that have been in Cold War and maybe some new ones, and maybe they'll change the functionality of the ones they bring from Cold War. We don't really know. Yeah. But it does sound like, like Lawbreaker, for example, equip any perks is one of the benefits. That means that, instead of having to take 1 blue perk only, 1 yellow perk only, and 1 red perk only, you could take 2 red and a blue, or 3 yellow, or 3 blue, or 1 of each, and just waste that wild card, I guess. So it would I would expect that also, honestly, but we'll see. This is interesting though. Yeah. And I think I like the wild card system. I'd prefer, let me be clear, I would prefer the most classic of pick 10s, probably. I would need more info on what exactly the custom class, whatever, exactly how it's going to work in BO6 to judge that super firmly. But I really liked in BO4 where you could do anything and you had 10 points, figure it out. Yeah. So if like there was a gun, and it made certain guns better or worse too. So like, some guns were really good without many attachments. Like the Rampart was one of them. You get a Rampart, it had great iron sights, it did a ton of damage. All you would put on it was, I actually forget the attachment, but it was like a better damage attachment or something. And that was like kind of all you needed because it also fired kind of slow. So you didn't really need extendos on it. So that made that gun even better because it was not an attachment hungry gun. So now I can run more perks when I use it. Whereas if I wanted to run like, I don't know, what was an attachment hungry gun in that game? Can't think of a good example, but maybe like the Spitfire. You got to put extra mags on that. Like, you got to put extendos on it at least. You got to put rapid fire 1 and 2. Otherwise, why are you using it? And then it's like, okay, well, this is, now I have fewer perks to work with than if I were using a Rampart or whatever.
I was like the Switchblade,
I like that better, but we're not getting that clearly. So we'll see what else they can do. But anyway.
Yeah, so on the talk of like equipping perk slots where we don't know exactly how it's going to work yet. But so there are 3 categories of perks: Enforcer, Recon, and Strategist. They are divided by perk 1, 2, and 3. If you equip the same category of perk across all 3, you get a specialty. Hold on, I'm confused. So does that mean there are Enforcer perks in slot 1, 2, and 3, or is perk 1 slot all Enforcer perks?
That's the question. I don't know.
Because that confused me after I finished the second sentence. Because I was thinking everything from perk 1 slot is considered an Enforcer perk. Everything from 2 is Recon. But the way Charlie Intel worded this makes it sound like they are just scattered between the 3.
Yeah, that's possible.
Perks are divided in perk 1, 2, and 3. If you equip the same category of perk across all 3...
it seems like every category is in every slot.
That's what I'm thinking now, which is not what I originally thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, if you equip all 3 Enforcer, then you get little bonuses like speed and health regen after you get a kill. So you stack all 3 perks, and then every single time you kill a person, you get a little bonus for a short period of time.
This is cool.
This is really interesting. Yeah, this is cool.
This is super cool. Because this is going to be a trade-off if this is how it works. So, like, perk 1, 2, and 3, let's call it yellow, blue, red. For yellow perks, it will have Enforcer perks or Recon perks or Strategist in the yellow category. And the same with blue and the same with red. The best 3 perks are probably not all going to be the same category. So you're going to have to decide, do I want the bonus for equipping all the same category, or is that perk that I would be giving up too good to pass on, so I just won't have a bonus at all and mix and match instead? That's a cool, interesting idea that requires some thought and some real trade-offs, and I like that a lot. I think that's really, really cool. Kind of like the same way the create a class system is now. I still don't really know what the best like multiplayer class setup is for me right now. Now that we have quick fix vest and quick fix gear and all the other vests, and then like each perk in different slots will do the same thing, but you're getting like different like pros and cons. It's fun, and it's like everyone's class is way different. And MW3 multiplayer, you can go play it right now. This is the least cookie cutter multiplayer, maybe besides Pick 10, or equally not cookie cutter as Pick 10 that I've ever seen. Like, no one is, there's no standard multiplayer
not at all
setup, not even close, with how many vests and gear slots and all that there are. It's really cool, and this is kind of the same type of deal, I think.
Yeah.
It's a step in that direction. I think this is a really cool idea. And it's incentivizing players to maybe pick a perk they wouldn't otherwise pick so that they get the bonus.
Yeah.
And that changes their playstyle a little bit. That's cool too. I really, really like this.
Yeah, it is. Like, like maybe for your 3rd slot, you're trying to pick between something like Ghost or High Alert, and you really want to run Ghost, but if you run High Alert, then you're going to stack with your other 2 perks, and you're going to get some sort of bonus. Don't know what that bonus would be, but there are interesting little trade-offs there. So that's cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Super cool.
And I didn't have it so the image can be shown, but you can see here there's an image from Bob Network, which is just screen grabbed from the gameplay. But he's showing the Enforcer specialty for equipping 3 Enforcer perks. Gives you increased movement speed, tack sprint, and regular speed. Tack sprint is coming back. and faster health regen after a kill. The UI has bars to reflect the duration of the effect. So when the effect is active, on like the right side of your screen, when you get a kill, there is a little bar that's decreasing to basically tell you how much more time you have of your increased movement speed, tack sprint speed, and quick health regen. So this is really, really freaking cool.
Yeah. And it's cool that it shows that on the UI too, so you know how much of a benefit that bonus is actually giving you.
And you can move the UI around.
And you can move it around, or if you don't care about it, you can just hide it. Yeah, because that's one thing that annoys me a lot about Call of Duty. Always, with every game, there's always something that's overlooked, where it's set like something will say it does something, and you don't know by what degree. So, for example, like the example right now, my best example right now in MW3 is any aim idle sway attachment. I don't know how much it helps. I have no idea, because it's not in the detailed stats. And in the simplified view, it's just 1, 2, or 3 carrots. And it's like, okay, I don't know how much this like really helps. I would love some numbers or some kind of like indication. Obviously, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but in the same way with this bonus thing, if you don't know how much faster your health is regenning or how much your movement speed is increasing, although you'll probably feel that, but for how long your movement speed is increasing, you might be less inclined to take it. But if it's showing up on your UI, then you can play with it for a game and you'll see like, okay, after I get a kill, this movement speed and quick regen bonus lasts a long time. This is worth giving up Ghost for high alert in your example.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Like, oh, this movement speed bonus is not for long enough for me to give up Ghost. I'm dropping it now. Like now you'll know without having to like watch an exclusive Ace video or pull out a stopwatch yourself. This is a nice little quality of life thing.
Yeah.
And it also implies that all the other bonus perks are going to have a similar UI element, which is great.
Yeah. Really cool. Love this. So next thing, just to like clarify what your loadout will be. So you are guaranteed a primary, a secondary, and a dedicated melee.
I'm so confused by this.
Exactly. Don't know how this works.
Immediately confused.
I've read stuff. I've watched like Swag's video. He's like, I mean, if this means like everyone can get like guaranteed Kali sticks, then this is really bad, but we don't know how it works. Because I'm like, is it just as simple like as when you melee somebody, your knife just comes out of nowhere and you get a one-hit melee instead of with your gun? Are you swapping between 3 weapons? Do you press one keybind to swap between your primary and secondary, and then another keybind to pull out your melee? I don't know, but either way, I don't think I like it. There should not be a dedicated melee slot at all, especially if you can get crazy things like, I don't know, that give you more lunge or the sticks, like I just said. Little worried about that.
Yeah, this is really bad. There's no reason to do this. Melee weapons shouldn't be in FPS games, obviously. And if you're gonna have them, at least make people give up a gun to use it. Because yeah, this is also weird from a UI standpoint. Like for me, you and I are on KBAM, so it's not that big of a deal. But like YY kids are seething because now it's YYY kids. Like how annoying is it gonna be if it works this way? Where you're like shooting your AR, you kill a guy, you have like 2 bullets left and you're getting pushed. So you switch to your SMG and then you kill him. And then it's like, all right, I want to take out my AR and reload. Now I have to press Y and then I have my karambit out and then I press Y again. That's going to be incredibly tedious, very fast, and not good and also bad.
Yeah.
So is it going to be a dedicated button like you said where YY is still only swapping between your guns and then there's a new separate keybind for like taking out and putting away your melee weapon? That's what I would think they would do. That would be the better solution.
That's what I imagine they'd do.
But still, why does anyone need a dedicated melee weapon, especially in a game like COD where melee weapons are strong?
Especially
like a knife is a one-hit kill, and if I just always have it, like I'm gonna use it sometimes.
Yeah, Especially
and
like
really dumb. I hate this a lot.
In a Treyarch game where their multiplayer time to kills are typically slower than the other studios, if some guy can run around with a guaranteed knife on him at all times,
great point.
Melee lunge people when the game has a slower time to kill than what we're used to, that's a terrible combo. But I really doubt it'll be just... I don't think you'll be swapping between 3 weapons. That would be absolutely insane. I don't think they'll do that, but the off chance they do, obviously a horrible gameplay decision. So yeah, I'm thinking... It would be
so bad they would change it, honestly.
I'm thinking you have to press another button. Like there's like your melee button, also it brings your melee out or something like that. And then you can run with it.
Y or something. Yeah, something
like
that.
Some parts of it would be kind of cool because then you can, if you run faster with it, you always have the ability to run faster by pulling out the knife. It's kind of a trade-off. You know, if you get caught off guard from a distance, somebody can shoot you. So I don't know. It has its pros and cons. I'm interested to see how that plays out. But generally speaking, I don't think it's necessary, and it's probably going to be a bad choice.
It's mostly cons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There is that benefit. You're right. And then here's another question. What if my dedicated melee weapon's a riot shield? Is everyone just going to have a riot shield on their back all the time now? That would be a disaster. A disaster.
My guess is by dedicated melee, it's basically you get a knife, and you can get knife skins that are going to be in the store, in the battle pass.
That's what I would assume as well.
And it just changes that. But yeah, I doubt it's going to be like a riot shield or anything outrageous. I don't think they do that, but I don't know. Treyarch is not the best at weapon balance, so I don't know.
It is also possible, though, that dedicated melee only means when you press your melee button, instead of doing a gun butt, you'll always pull out a knife as if you had throwing knife lethals equipped.
Yeah.
It's possible that's what this means.
That's what I kind of said at the start. It's basically hidden too, but when you go to melee somebody, it pulls out a knife and it's a one-hit kill rather than bashing them twice with a gun or however they balance that. So could go a lot of different ways. But moving on, so you're also guaranteed a lethal, you're guaranteed a tactical, and you're guaranteed a field upgrade. And then, of course, with probably some sort of wild card, which you are also guaranteed a wild card, it says, you could probably get 3 lethals, 3 tacticals, which I hate, of course, but hopefully there are wild cards that people use instead of that one. I would rather every person on the other team be using 8 attachments on their gun than every person on the other team using 3 stun grenades and 3 frag grenades, because that will be bad.
Yeah, and this is why pick 10 systems are also better, is because everyone guaranteed a lethal and a tactical sucks. It sucks. It's anachronistic. Leave it in the past. It just makes everything so nade spammy and gross.
Yeah.
Like when there's a pick 10 system, like in BO4, no one ran lethals or tacticals, or very rarely. And if you wanted to, you'd have to be giving something up for it.
Yeah.
So it was really like the 9-bang from Flash, or I think that 9-bang from Ajax, I believe.
I know that operator sucked. I remember I never used it.
And that operator, his ult was like a riot shield with an auto pistol. Yeah, it wasn't very good. Or battery Semtex. But besides that, you could equip a frag grenade on Crash or something, but no one did it. It wasn't worth it. But yeah, then besides that, in this game and past games, and you're guaranteed lethals and tacticals, it's just cringe. It's oh, I spawned on shipment. Let me immediately throw a frag.
Yeah.
Or a stun or whatever. It's dumb. So even being guaranteed one, I think sucks. But I mean.
Yeah, I mean even Modern Warfare 3 right now has better balance than what it sounds like this will be, where you take.
Yeah, because
certain vests, and you usually you often will lose a tactical or a lethal or even both with that. So
Correct.
That leads to less spam too. So if every person's gonna have it, we've seen it.
It'll be worse than now. You're right. Yeah.
So then you get the 3 perks as well, and you get the perk specialty, as we said, if you pick all 3 from the same category, but not perk category, but category of perk. I don't know. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, and then 5 attachments per weapon, up to 8 with a wild card. So pretty standard stuff for the rest of it.
Yeah, actually kind of standard. So this could be a cool, right? Based on that alone, it sounds like the create a class system we have now is actually better than BO6's. However, I really like the perk specialty thing, and we don't know what the wild cards are going to be yet. It's possible the wild cards are dramatic and they change up a lot about your class and provide like really big trade-offs. And then that could kind of totally save the whole system for me. Or it'll be bog standard, but not the end of the world. So I think overall I'm okay with this. But assuming the wild cards are just like the same ones from Cold War, this would be, in my opinion, a slight step down from the MW3 create a class system, but not bad.
I agree. Unless the wildcard system works similar to the vest system in MW3, which I don't think it will, but just throwing that out there, you know, maybe there's a wild card where you gain something, but you actually lose your tactical and lethal with it, but it doesn't sound like it's going to work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah. But we don't know for sure, so we'll see.
Today's episode is brought to you by our Patreon, where we offer our members all of our episodes early access and ad-free. Starting at just $5 a month at the gold tier, patrons also get 3 raw, uncensored Call of Duty bonus episodes every single month, in addition to every bonus episode we've ever done in the past, and a unique Discord role as well. If you've been thinking about joining the Patreon, this is a great time because free trials are live for the month of June. Sign up at any tier and receive a 7-day free trial. Yes, this includes Platinum and Damascus. Free trials for the first time ever. We had our Damascus hangout last night where we played Modern Warfare 3 Customs. It was a ton of fun, and we had some new faces join who were on their free trial. Everyone loved it. Just a blast. Next month, the month of July, we will be doing an all patrons Rebirth Island Customs hangout. That's assuming we can get 35 players. So you can sign up at the gold tier, Platinum, or Damascus. Next month, details coming soon, and we're going to do Rebirth Island Customs. Should be a blast. We've already released 2 Patreon episodes thus far in June, a Warzone strategy guide for all patrons, and a Platinum and above Q&A. The Q&A episodes are always well received and a ton of fun to record. A lot of food questions if you guys are into that stuff. $10 a month Platinum gets you everything from the gold tier alongside the 1 Q&A episode where you guys can ask the questions and also hear the answers. Damascus is $20 a month, gets you all that plus a behind the scenes episode, the monthly Damascus only patron hangout, and access to the Discord Damascus Lounge. You spend $50 a month, you get the Obsidian tier. Limited to only 10 people, it's for nothing extra beyond Damascus other than bragging rights, a black name in Discord, and access to the Obsidian Skybox Discord channel. And of course, our gratitude. At the time of this recording, I believe we still have 2 Obsidian slots open. Grab that black name. If you guys hate hearing this ad, sorry, I'm not. Sign up for the Patreon. Here we go, back to the show. Moving on, Ghost of Hope says, according to a video from a creator who attended the event, and was not supposed to say this, so he didn't say who, I guess, but loopable streaks will not be a feature in Black Ops 6, so you cannot get your streaks more than once in a life. If you go on a 20 kill streak, you got the 3 streaks you had selected, and that's it, nothing else. So yeah, you know, it's fun to have, fun. It's really fun to play with, terrible to go against, bad for the game. And we were kind of saying in the pre-show too, like this is similar, loopable streaks in my opinion, it's similar to something like the Car 98 in Warzone right now. Great, fun, fantastic, perfect when you're using it. It's a blast. When you get it used against you, the worst experience you've had that day. Terrible. Nothing like going up against 4 players peeking a roof in Urzikstan right now, all of them using a Car 98. Doesn't matter if it only one-shots to 10 meter. They're all shooting at me at the same time. I'm dead immediately. Loopable streaks, similar. If you're on a bad team and you start getting streaked on, there's no coming back from that. You're having a really bad game. People are backing out of lobbies. You're then backfilling into a lobby where you're getting streaked to death.
Exactly.
But this happened all the time in Black Ops 4. So it's just better for the game when something is really good for you but terrible to go up against. That's generally just bad game balance, and it shouldn't belong in the game. So I get why people want loopable streaks again. They're fun to use, but horrible for game balance. I'm glad they're not coming back.
I agree, and no one should be surprised that they're not coming back. I don't think we'll ever see loopable streaks again in Call of Duty. So, like, if you were expecting them, I don't know why you were. I guess they were in BO4, so maybe that's why you expected them, but it doesn't make sense to.
Well, aren't they technically in MW3 right now too with the new things they're doing? Sometimes
when the event is live,
yeah. And I don't know how long that happens. I haven't played multiplayer since they put that in the game.
I've only gotten it like that first week, so okay. I don't really know. But you know what? One thing they could do about loopable streaks that I think could be interesting is make it a perk. I think that would be perfectly.
Yeah.
I think that would be a perfect compromise, because then it's like, yeah, if you want to loop streaks, you can, but you're going to have to give up something to do it. Put it in a weak perk category. So like, let's say perk 1 is like the worst perks. Put it in there. Loopable streaks. So you'd still be giving up something, but nothing too crazy, you know? I think that could be a good little compromise, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, I had that thought too, but I doubt they would do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it, but anyway, whatever. We got some other features returning in BO6 as well. And I think we
kind of already mentioned
some of these. Yeah, so detailed weapon stats are coming back. The winner circle is coming back. I've actually never played a game with a winner circle before. I think this was like an advanced warfare thing, but it would be like kind of like how when X Defiant at the end of the game, there will be 3 like operators and they'll be like standing there like, you know, whatever, flossing, and it'll say like Enders FPS highest kill death ratio 8.2 or whatever, and then it'll show like 2 other people. I'm assuming that's what that means, which is cool. I've never seen it in COD before, but I would totally be okay with that. Play the game, which we already talked about, and then shooting range is the only new thing we have not talked about yet. This is, according to the Ghost of Hope, returning in BO6. Good. That's cool. The shooting range we have now is like, it's better than not having a shooting range, but it also, in my opinion, leaves a lot to be desired. Or the firing range or whatever. I don't know if shooting range implies something different than firing range, actually. That's another question. I'm assuming not, because he doesn't go into any detail here, but just being able to like test the recoil of your guns before you load in or something is good. And then, you know, again, I think there could be improvements made to the shooting range. There's a lot they could do. Like more options that save. So like, okay, I'm going to go to my shooting range settings. These are my default settings. So every time I go to the shooting range, it should have these settings. Player health, Warzone style. So they have 300 health. Do you want to show damage numbers? Yes. So when you shoot them in the leg, it'll like a number will come up like an MMO where it says like 27 or whatever. That would be cool. Health bars. Do you want those on or off? Plate bars. Do you want those on or off? And then like, I don't know, maybe even being able to adjust the distance, or not even adjust the distance necessarily, but like, do you want to show your distance from the dummy? Yes. Always? Yes. So every single time you're looking at the dummy, above its head, it says like 10.2 meters. And then as you go closer, the number lowers, obviously. There's like a lot like that they could do. And then like, do you want your perks to be active in the shooting range? Yes. Because right now they're not. You don't get your perks in the shooting range, which is really annoying, because if I want to know how fast my gun reloads in game because I use sleight of hand, I simply can't find out in the firing range. It's not possible. I have to wait until I'm in game and have the perk before I can test that. That would be cool. Or like Combat Scout, you know, maybe you care to see exactly how that functions. You can't do that in the firing range right now. And then like being able to walk right up to it, like being able to enter the lanes, you know, or whatever. There's a lot that could be done. So again, we'll see what we get. But if it's as bare bones as we have now, I think it's good enough. It's certainly better than not having anything at all. But do you think shooting range implies something different than firing range?
So that's, I mean, Jakin makes a good point. They honestly might just be calling it a shooting range because they have a map called firing range, so they're just renaming it. But yeah, when I saw this too, I started looking into it more because I was thinking of like the headquarters type thing. Like I was thinking there was more than just a shooting range. Exactly. Like you could run around and do different things. Like there are targets further out, like an obstacle course type thing. That's, I guess, what I envisioned. I don't know why, but it's probably not that. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the older Black Ops game because I was an Infinity Ward Modern Warfare gamer back then. So I didn't play most of those. So if anyone in chat knows that played the older Black Ops games, if like there was something called the shooting range and it was different than what we have now, let us know. But yeah, realistically, it's probably just the same thing as what we have now. So, yeah, moving on here. Got some info from this Screen Rant article, which maybe we'll go through a little bit more at the end here. Because we're actually almost done, and we've only done an hour, so we'll see. But anyway, so this is a little bit from the article here from Screen Rant. So Call of Duty Black Ops 6 introduces 12 weapons that have never been seen before in the series. By the way, why do they keep saying this? This is like the millionth time they've said there are 12 weapons that have never been seen before in Call of Duty. They're technically all have never been seen before. It's just a rehashed M4, another version of it. Like, what are you talking about? I'm interested to see what they mean by that, because I'm sure it's just going to be some gun that looks like another gun in real life, and we've also had in COD, but it's called something else and looks slightly different, so it's brand new. Anyways, don't care. Some era-appropriate and some prototype weapons, okay? Some of the weapons shown to me during the presentation to emphasize the texture and design details added in this game include the PDW, Marine SP, I don't care. This is the interesting part. Okay, so as for the gear, following the theme of going rogue and having to make DIY weapons in the field, here are some examples. He uses the word gear. I don't know exactly what this means, but
I don't either.
Spring mine, 4 claymores in a circle strapped together with zip ties.
Okay.
So is this like a kill streak or is this like a field upgrade? Is this like a cluster mine type field upgrade? Don't know. Next one, RCXD, classic RCXD. That's going to be a kill streak, right?
But why are they all in the gear category?
That's what I don't know. And this guy wasn't supposed to say this because this is definitely something they were not supposed to talk about.
I bet you these aren't even in the same category. Like one's a kill streak, one's a field upgrade. This guy's
that might just be why
casual, probably.
Exactly. He's just some guy they sent out from Screen Rant, some intern who played COD once before.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So this next one here, the signal lure. How do you actually say that word? Lure. Signal lure. Lure. It's a bad word, and it's not used often.
But yeah, it's I think this is where our California accents are bad, because I don't know exactly how you say it.
It's a bad word. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So he claims this is new to COD. For the real good slayers, all enemies know where you are when you turn on this beeper. What the hell does that mean?
This guy is stupid, because there's no way there's some field upgrade where I press it and I give everyone walls against me. There's no shot. That's all it does.
So that's what I'm saying. He's definitely leaving out context. Like, obviously, you must get something out of it. Maybe you get, like, increased movement speed. Maybe you get, like, super speed, infinite tack sprint. Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's think about this. New to COD, for the real good slayers, all enemies know where you are when you turn on.
Or you get
maybe you turn it on. Yeah.
Kill streak progress.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to go for next. Like bonus, like every kill counts as like 2 kills or something towards your streak. That would be interesting.
Could be worth using.
Yeah, I could be totally okay with something like that. But
that's a big
this guy's an idiot. You know what? Actually, let's find out what his name is real quick so we can all call him an idiot. This is Rob Keys from Screen Rant. Let's look at him.
Let's brigade.
He's the editorial brand. Oh, he's the PR director. His expertise is in Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic.
Okay.
This is the guy that played COD early. This is the guy that got invited to play Call of Duty early, by the way. Got it. Warcry! New to COD. 2 flares you bang together, and characters around you get a buff.
So similar to Squad Rage.
This sounds like Squad Rage.
These features.
Yeah.
I think they're so cringe and goofy and dumb. I don't like them. This is not League of Legends. I don't need AoE buffs in my FPS game. I love RPGs. I love AoE buffs. Not in COD. Stop it. This is dumb. I don't like it. I don't care what it does. I don't want it. It's like just thematically it bothers me. So yeah, I wonder what the buff would be as well. Probably like increased movement speed, maybe faster health regen for like a while. It's like, but when do you pop this? Like no one runs this. No one runs this unless it's extremely overpowered, like in the MW3 beta. One of the, I forget what it's called, but it wasn't Squad Rage, but it was something like that. It was like a tactical, I think. You would huff it, and then battle stim or whatever. I don't know. You'd get your albuterol out, and then you would have like crazy health regen, and everyone was using it in beta, and then it got nerfed.
Yeah.
Unless it's that good, no one's going to use this. So I don't know. I hate it, but anyway.
I was trying to see if I can find any more info on either of these.
And then the last one here he mentions is spy camera. For players who love to help their team, you can tag enemies. So that's what we already have.
Got it.
Yeah. Back to Tanner's first point about the first section of this article here. It introduces 12 weapons that have never been seen before in the series. As Tanner mentioned, we don't care about new weapons. It doesn't matter. And just to tell you once again why, if this is your first time hearing it, it's going to be guns that shoot bullets, and they're going to look a certain way, and they're going to have certain damage values and rate of fire and recoil. I don't really care what they're named. I don't really care what they look like. But even if it's like a returning favorite gun, it's not the same gun. The Signal 50 from whatever, MW19, if it came back in BO6, it's a different game. So it's going to be a different gun. It's going to feel different. Yeah. It's going to be against different guns. It's going to be on a different engine. It doesn't matter. So like, who cares what guns are coming back? There's not going to be a gun that is so different that it's like actually exciting, unless they do get really crazy. And there are some guns, I should say, there are some weapons I could get excited about, but it's none of the ones he mentions or even alludes to, because these are all just weapons. The only thing that would excite me or be interesting as far as weapons that are coming to the game, it wouldn't be like, oh, the ACR is back. Don't care. It's a full auto AR. But if it was something like, hey, you guys remember the Stingray from BO4? It was a DLC gun, and it didn't shoot bullets. It shot flechette projectiles. So the bullet velocity was really bad, but it did a ton of damage if you landed a shot. That's okay. That would be interesting. That's like a way different weapon type. Like that would be cool to hear about. Or something similarly, like unique. There were definitely other BO4 weapons like that I can't really think of right now. But like things like that, I would be like, okay, that's cool. But like, oh, we're getting an SVD. Okay, who cares?
Yeah.
We've never seen an SVD before. Okay, but I know what an SVD is because I'm a Tarkov Chad. It's a DMR that fires semi-auto.
Well, we have seen an SVD. It was an MW19.
Which is what I said. So like when we see that again, it's going to be, okay, another semi-auto DMR. I've played with a million of these in COD. I don't care if it's coming back or if it's coming for the first time, which is what I said. So anyway, just to reiterate that. But yeah, as far as the gear goes, I don't know. This sounds like a mix of field upgrades and kill streaks. Spring Mine sounds like a kill streak. RCXD sounds like a kill streak. Signaler, Warcry, and Spy Camera sound like field upgrades. I don't think gear, when he says that, means anything like mechanically. Yeah. So
to me, it sounds like Rob Keys is just a giant idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Oh, yeah. He's Canadian. Now it makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Anyways, moving on here. Thanks, Rob Keys, for that. Very cool, bro. Charlie Intel. Treyarch confirmed to IGN they will be adding all sorts of skins to Black Ops 6 post-launch, but day one will focus on the based/immersive items. So day one, you won't be running around with any of those skins, so it doesn't break that immersion and the narrative we want. Now, of course, we're going to add those things into post-launch. We know players like those stuff, and then we'll find really cool things that tie to Black Ops lore and also new exciting stuff as well, like Mastercrafts. You can see some of the Mastercrafts actually with the Black Cell bundle. If you look at the Black Cell bundle to pre-order.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like the crazy looking Mastercraft bundles are coming back.
Again, man?
For sure. Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fine with me.
Yeah.
I like that they're not going to have any crazy skins on day one, because yeah, you can kind of keep that Call of Duty vibe at least for a season or two, and then you can add bubs and wubs and dubs, and who cares? I don't care. I don't really care either way about this, but this makes sense. I like that they're eventually going to add crazy skins, because even though I don't really like them, I know a lot of people do, so I want it to be in the game for those people, you know. So I think this is fun.
I agree. I think we mentioned this on Tuesday, but this is again from that Screen Rant article. Miller, was a Treyarch person they were talking to, confirms that in the next few months they'll talk more about Omni Movement and how it will integrate into Call of Duty Warzone. So they are saying it's coming. Supposedly. That's what the article says. The article says confirmed Omni Movement is coming to Call of Duty Warzone.
Who is Miller?
It's the guy he was interviewing. It was a Treyarch dev, I believe.
I would be amazed if a Treyarch dev said that and it's not true.
Yeah.
So I think, and even if no one said it, I would.
Director of production at Treyarch.
Yeah. Okay. He's high up then too. If he's a director, it's like an executive position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that is cool. And I actually don't know if I was expecting that necessarily or not. But now I am.
It's weird because I feel like they have to, because they can't make it again like Cold War with Warzone, where the two games felt so much different.
True. Yeah,
so they have to build
mistake.
them together, in my opinion. You got to do it that way, which is also why I'm very worried about Omni Movement.
Yeah. And this is, you mentioned this in our last episode, this is one of the reasons why and advantages of them having migrated to a unified engine.
Correct.
If you have a unified engine, then when a new game comes out, it's very easy to port certain mechanics from that new game to Warzone, for example, because they're the same engine. So it's like, oh, okay, we'll just turn on Omni Movement. It's not like a whole project like the Cold War integration into Warzone was, where those were not a unified engine, and we saw how much of a disaster balancing that was. It took them literally months before it was like even remotely playable. The Cold War guns were like all terrible with like some weird exceptions, and then they were all like really good, and then like I don't know, it just took forever. So anyway, Omni Movement coming to Warzone is, I think it's a good thing overall. Even if it's going to have some like problems, it's so I mean, we haven't played with it yet, so take this with a grain of salt, but it seems to me that it introduces such a new level of precision that it's going to really widen the skill gap tremendously if you can do Omni Movement things. Like, again, you can jump a corner, you can slide a corner, or you can dive a corner. Like, that's cool. And I also think Omni Movement's going to kind of go crazy for like tac stance if that comes back, or hipfire builds also, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if we still have
tac stance. That makes hipfire builds a lot better. that makes them really good. So that would be that's going to be really cool. I'm ultimately really excited for it. And if is there going to be some cheese that's possible? Probably, yeah. But there's cheese possible now, and there's always going to be possible cheese. Even in COD 2, there were cheesy things you could do. Like, it's just people who play the game 18 hours a day, they're going to find the cheese, they're going to find the tech, and they're going to abuse it if it works well. That's just how video games that are competitive are played. So will Omni Movement introduce some new tech or cheese or something like that? Yeah, probably, but it's also giving you a greater variety of control over what you want to do with your character. And I think that is going to be worth it because you can't get away from cheese.
Bro's a walking Treyarch
I'm excited
ad.
for it. I'm excited.
You sound like a Treyarch dev saying that. The possibilities of what you can do with your character, it's endless.
True,
Jesus Christ, man.
It does sound.
Bro is glazing. Holy.
It sounds Pollyanna-ish, but it's true. I think.
Yeah, it could be cool or it can be bad. It'll be one of those two things for sure.
I don't think it can be bad. I think it can just be cool or not that cool, but different at least. That's kind of where I'm at. Okay. I don't see a scenario where it's like way worse than not having Omni movement. I don't think there's going to be any kind of like possibility that's.
I think you're going to think the exact opposite 6 months from now.
Why though? Like, what would it be?
How are you going to track people that can sprint left to right when you're on KBAM in Warzone against some guy pulling rotational aim assist? It's just, it's going to be bad. Trust me.
Directions, man.
Okay. All right. Okay. You were excited for slide canceling to go away. You're not going to be excited for this movement, man.
I was excited for slide canceling going away because that was the fastest way to move, and it was annoying being forced to do it to move my character quickly. I was not excited about slide canceling going away. I was excited about slide canceling not resetting tack sprint anymore, first of all. And second of all, your point is well taken, but I think there are ways to like balance it sufficiently. And also, I already can't track people up close on KBAM. So what am I losing? I'm already losing to some guy cameraing me in a doorway with rotational aim assist, not missing a single bullet. So like, can it get worse? No. I don't think I'm going to lose more up close gunfights than I already do now to movement, you know? And that's what it fires for, buddy.
I agree with Jake and make blind fire great again. Maybe we can like dive backwards while also holding our gun up and blind firing. That would be cool.
That'd be cinematic for sure. While you have a body hostage, it's on your chest.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can take kids as body shields. Children.
Maybe. You drain less stamina that way.
Oh, here's another leak I heard, by the way.
What?
Unsubstantiated leak. Because I don't know if it's real. I don't know where I saw it. Don't know if it's true, obviously. But I did hear a something. There's going to be like some campaign mission that is either 9/11 or it's more controversial than No Russian. I don't think it's 9/11 because that doesn't make sense for the story timeline. But I did see something like there's a campaign mission that's even more controversial than the No Russian campaign mission. For those of you who don't know what that is, by the way, it's the most notorious COD campaign mission, and it's from the original MW2 campaign, I believe. And you are playing as a Russian who is doing a false flag against the United States, and you like go into an airport and you just full auto blast civilians in the airport. And supposedly there's something more controversial. Have you seen or heard that at all?
Well, the 9/11 stuff was fake news.
That it has to be, right? Yeah.
But there are like some confirmed missions. There's one where like you raid like Saddam Hussein's palace, I believe. But other than that, I didn't look at too much of the campaign stuff.
Yeah.
There's some info out there for it.
Thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So last thing here, I watched Swag's YouTube video. So he, of course, played the game early. Again, they weren't supposed to say a whole lot, but they weren't supposed to give their thoughts on anything. Basically, what they were supposed to do is say, oh, Omni movement's coming. Look at this. You can dive in any direction. You can sprint in any direction. This is Omni movement. And they're supposed to move on. So he kind of ended up giving his thoughts on some things, though. So, number one, I don't remember seeing these anywhere in the video. Maybe it was in the campaign trailer that we skipped, or the campaign portion of the direct. But he claims there are grappling hooks in multiplayer.
That was not in BO6 Direct.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember hearing about this from anybody.
Actually, I don't know.
But he said grappling hooks in multiplayer, and then he went on to say, do not be surprised if you see this in Warzone. Didn't confirm, but he was like saying like Blackout had grappling hooks, and he was showing Blackout gameplay the entire time. and he was showing, and he was like talking about everything you can do with grappling hooks and Blackout and how they were a fan favorite. And a lot of people, some people, have been asking for them back for a long time. So he said, do not be surprised if we end up getting these in Warzone. I don't think he actually knows or not for sure. I think he was just saying like it could be cool if we get them.
If we did get grappling hooks, I could see this being true. It would be weird for him to say this and it's not true. I don't know what would have given him that idea if it wasn't true.
Just yapping, get to the 10 minutes so he can make ad revenue. I don't know.
I mean, maybe he just lied. Yeah, I don't know. Or just like wildly speculated as possible. I didn't actually watch the video myself. But if we did get grappling hooks in multiplayer, I would guess they would be a field upgrade. And that would be cool. I think it would be balanced as a field upgrade probably as well. Depending exactly on how it works. Is it reusable or not? How well does it work? Obviously we don't know. And seeing them in Warzone would be pretty good as well. If they're going to be in Warzone, then that makes it a lot more likely that it would be a field upgrade rather than like a tactical. That would be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I never played Blackout. I don't know how they worked in Blackout either. Because like in multiplayer, there were grappling hooks, but you had to play as an operator named Ruin. And it was unlimited uses, but it had like a cooldown. So you could use it once every like 30 seconds probably. But it never like went away. I wonder if that would come to multiplayer if they do come back. Like an infinite one. And then also, if it came to Warzone, would it also be infinite once you find it? That would be really strong. Probably not. But I don't know if they did. I don't know if grappling hooks in Blackout were reusable or not. I have no idea. But I'd like to see it.
I think they were just on a cooldown, and I thought everybody had them at all. I think it was just part of what you spawned with, but yeah, really? I also didn't play it. As we've said, if you haven't heard, we didn't get the chance to play. It was dead on PC, and we played BO4 on PC. You could not find a lobby. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, it just seems like that would kill off casuals if you do stuff like that. But also, they're adding Omni movement, which could also kill off casuals. So we'll have to see.
I don't think it would kill off casuals because you're not going to be... It's not like a jetpack where you can be, like, dumping on some kid while you're grappling hooking. Like, with a jetpack COD, you could just, like, fly out of people's cameras while you're still shooting them and, like, really ruin them. Whereas grappling hooks, you're not going to be able to like kill someone while you do it. You're just going to be able to like relocate really well. I don't think it's going to be that. I think Omni movement is way less casual friendly than grappling hooks would be, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Grappling hooks would have a crazy skill gap to them. That's, I think, the biggest thing. Because like casuals would not be able to take advantage of them at all, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But that would be awesome. I think that's good.
Yeah. So then he talked about the movement. He said a lot. He kind of like split it up weird, but he was like, it's very seamless and fast. And then he used one of the most cringe words to describe it I've ever heard. And unfortunately, I don't want to repeat it, but I'm going to. He says, the combinations people are going to be able to do. And then he paused and he like made this face and he was like, electric. And it pissed me off. It really made me mad. Add that to your list. You have to add that to your list. It's a terrible word to describe it, but basically what I'm getting at is he was very, very excited for the movement and kind of, getting at it's the best movement we've had in COD.
Yeah, it looks that way to me, so I'm not surprised he has that opinion, yeah.
He talks about how attack sprint is in the game, as we've now, we do know for sure it's in the game. Another interesting thing is you cannot do this currently, but you can shoot doors open. He didn't say if it takes one bullet, if you have to spray it for 5 bullets or so, you can shoot open doors. So he's like, if this comes to Warzone, this could be interesting too. Like shooting doors open with somebody hiding in a room, that could really change how a lot of things are played because you cannot currently do that.
Does change
you
a
can
lot.
blow them open with lethals, I'm almost positive, right? If you throw a grenade at a door, I think that blows it open usually.
I actually don't know.
It's one of those things you don't pay attention to when you play Warzone, but I'm almost certain that's the way it works right now. But now you will be able to just shoot them and they can open. So you're saying that was cool, which also that's kind of something, because, a lot of these multiplayer gamers don't want doors in at all. So that's, I guess, it's not really a compromise, but it does help with, I think, some of those complaints if you can just shoot these doors open rather than, you're watching a lane, some guy opens a door, he just closes it and runs away, or he's standing behind it. It can create different little gameplay scenarios there. So that's new and coming back as well. But that was pretty much it from what he said that was new and or interesting. But yeah, I watched Exclusive Aces video. Horrendous. Nothing against him. It's just he did it by the book. He did not give any info outside what he was supposed to say. I'm sure there are other creators out there that gave a lot more info past what they were supposed to, but I didn't watch any of those ones, or I couldn't find any others. So that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Shooting a door open, yeah, that's cool, I guess. I think it's probably better than not being able to. It's just something that never occurred to me, but I think it is a good idea for Warzone and multiplayer. I don't think it's like that big of a deal either way, but it's cool. So, yeah. So that's kind of it. And that's kind of a lot also. And it's all very exciting to me, honestly. I think a lot of this sounds really good. I think the beta happening right after COD Next is awesome. The PlayStation not getting early access is really good for hype and stuff as well. The create a class system, I'm very curious to see. That's mostly what I have questions about. How exactly does that look? What are the wild cards? How do they function? What do they do? Are there trade-offs? That's my big thing. And then I'm curious what all the other little specialties are, because there are 3 perk categories: Enforcer, Recon, and Strategist. We know what the Enforcer bonus is. I wonder what they are for Recon and Strategist. Because we did see in the Black Ops 6 Direct, there was like a little snippet of multiplayer where some guy got like a little sweep, and he was seeing enemies through walls, like their red outlines, for like a second. I wonder what's going on there. Like, what is that? I don't know. Is that a field upgrade? Is that a recon bonus category perk thing that you can get? Like maybe once a minute you can press that button if you have all 3 perks in the recon category. Possible. And then strategist. What does that mean? I know what an enforcer is. I know what a recon man is. I don't know what a strategist is. Oh, they mentioned this in BO6 Direct, actually. This is the objective-focused guy. So he's focused on throwing his body on the objective and capping it by any means necessary while destroying enemy kill streaks and stuff. So that's, I guess, what strategist would be. I wonder what the bonus perk would be there. Engineer, maybe? Something like that? I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot I want to know about the custom class. Mainly, that's what I'm very excited to learn about. And then beyond that, play the game coming back, Winner's Circle coming back, very cool. Curious what fire mod means in the Gunsmith. And then curious to see how the Warzone integration goes. But for me, the real big question right now is, and the real thing I'm most excited for at COD Next, is a very detailed look at the creative class system. That's mostly what I want to see. That's mostly what I'm curious about and don't know about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we got a lot of info, but I'm very interested to see Call of Duty Next, to see how people actually use the Omni movement. Yeah, that's for sure the most exciting thing. Didn't really talk about zombies today at all, because there was an account that put out a bunch of zombies info, and I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. It seemed like a good leaking zombie account, but I couldn't find it. If anybody knows the name of one of them, DM it to me, because I think we could also do maybe like a whole zombie leaks episode this month, either publicly or on Patreon or something, because there are a lot of things there too. Like, there is a zombies crew on one of the maps where you get like the lore of like so like you don't play as your own custom operator, like you each choose your crew member, which I guess has been a thing in other COD zombies in the past. And it works better with the lore and stuff, they say, but you can like play it either way. So there's like a set crew on it's only for one of the maps on launch, but
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, okay. A lot of interesting things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get into that.
We should make that an episode if there's enough, for sure. Whether we do
I'm just not sure if there's enough or not.
Yeah, we'll look into that. But I guess, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That is worth mentioning. There is more info out there for zombies. but we did not cover it today. And we will certainly cover it at some point. Whether we do that soon or not depends on how much there is to talk about with zombies, because there might not be enough until after COD Next, in which case we'll save the episode for then, but maybe sooner. So that is it, boys and girls. We hope you enjoyed. We will be back next week. We will post our schedule for the week probably on Tuesday rather than Monday like we normally do, because Father's Day is tomorrow. And I think my dad and my brother might want to go to the casino or something. So I will be hungover on Monday if we do that. And I won't want to do anything like make a schedule. So we'll make it on Tuesday and you'll figure it out. But besides that, as a reminder for the announcements, free trials are still live for our Patreon. You can sign up for any tier for free by going to patreon.com/thedropshot, and you will be able to preview all the benefits. Full access at whatever tier you get for free. And that will be available for the rest of the month of June. And then it's going away come July. So if you wanted to peek behind the curtain, see what the Patreon is like, you can do that at no cost to yourself for the whole month. So sign up, check it out. Our latest Patreon episode was a platinum and above episode. Our Q&A episode, it's about an hour 45. It was fun. That's where patrons ask questions and they hear the answers. And that was a particularly good one. I enjoyed it. And then, yeah, we just had our Damascus hangout once again. Thanks to everyone who came. And next month, we are doing for all of our patrons, rather than a Damascus hangout next month, we are going to substitute in a patron hangout. So any tier of patron in July, we are going to be doing Rebirth Island customs. So the reason we don't do this often is because the game does not let you start the match unless you have 35 players. And for Damascus Hangouts, we can't field 35 people. We have way more Damascus patrons than that, but they don't all come to the Hangouts, obviously. So yeah, we're opening the field to all of our patrons, and it's going to be really fun. We're going to make a bunch of extra Discord voice channels, so every team can have their own little channel. You can now connect to Discord through console, so everyone has their own private good comms. And we will do some antitrust monopoly breaking. So Jake will have the 2 worst players on his team for the entire night.
He won't show up mandated.
Anyways. He's probably not going to be there anyway, but if he is, and if it's not, then Cope will have the 2 worst teammates there. And so will Lag, and so you all the other little sweat rats that like to ruin customs. We will make it bad for you. And so everyone else will have a good time and it'll be fun. That we have not done in quite a while, and it's going to be available to all patrons next month. We have not set a date yet, but we are going to we're going to make a point to give you guys plenty of notice. So you'll get at least like 2 weeks notice. So if you want to call off work or whatever, switch shifts at the target you work at or whatever you have to do, you'll have plenty of time to do that. And it's going to not be at night. So it won't be like on a Friday night like our hangouts normally are. We're probably going to do it in the afternoon on the weekend so that those of you who have full-time jobs don't even have to ask for work off. Probably. But we have not set a date and time yet. We will soon, though. So if you want to get in on that, I recommend patreon.com/thedropshot. Join at whatever tier you think you'd be comfortable being next month and beyond. So whatever benefits you want. Test out the Patreon, listen to some bonus episodes, see how you like it. See how you like the new name color in Discord and the Discord channels. If you like the content and if you're enjoying ad-free and early access episodes and bonus episodes and all that, uncensored bonus episodes, by the way, we cuss a lot, then stay a patron, and then next month you can come to the Rebirth Customs. That's what I would recommend all of you
Rebirth.
Do if you've been interested. W Rebirth. So other than that, boys and girls, that is it. We hope you enjoyed. We will see you next week. Next week should be fun. And then on the Patreon, we got some exciting bonus episode ideas cooking in our little brains. And as we've been saying, they are different than the episode types we've done in the past. We're changing things up. We're keeping it fresh, and we will continue to do that this month. Thank you for watching and listening. Stay humble.
Stay humble.